Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this. This is Wrestle AM. It's half morning show, half wrestling show, pretty much all bullshit. I'm your host, LK from Kocosports.net. That's KOCOsports.net. It's where the world goes to catch home for combat sports and above all, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. From this passionate fan to you, please put in the live comments if you're watching live. Do you give this show a win? Do you give this show a loss? Or do you give this show a tie? And if you're wondering, LK, you stupid English cunt, if you're sat there thinking that, well, firstly, I don't blame you. Secondly, why am I doing the SmackDown review on a Wednesday? Well, due to the fact that potentially I could have a really good new job, it will mean that I won't be able to record live after shows go off the air. So Wrestle AM being Wrestle AM, half morning show. It is half morning show. It's 2:11 a.m. right now. I'm going to have a normal sleeping pattern like a normal fucking human being, which means I won't be eligible to stay up till stupid o'clock at night, like 6. Like to watch a pay-per-view and do a review, I was in bed at 6. If I have to start work at 9, I can't do that every day, so I'm going to start doing the reviews at like midnight to 2 a.m. That's when I'm going to do them, because then I can get at least, 6 to 8 hours sleep every single day. And that's what's going to happen. So we're going to review shows a day after. So Raw will be done on a Tuesday, SmackDown done on a Wednesday, NXT done on a Thursday, Impact Wrestling done on a Friday. Monday will either be pay-per-views or a classic show. So with that in mind, welcome to Wrestling. And please put in the comments to give the show a win, loss, or tie. Enough of this lollygagging and pussy fucking around. Let's get straight to it. So, SmackDown Live for February the 14th, 2017 was in the books. I gave it a week win. I watched this show with no commercial breaks. Not one. And I enjoyed it for the majority of it. I gave it a week win. And with SmackDown, I feel this important. And, I kind of get this feel of unpredictableness. Like, that anything can happen during SmackDown Live. Whereas when I watch Raw, I think anything can happen as in I could fall asleep in around about 5 minutes, or 4, or 3, or 2, or 1, or now. That's what I feel when I watch Monday Night Raw, when I watch SmackDown. But maybe this will change. Because I won't be watching it live at a stupid o'clock, I can analyze the show instead of analyzing the time. And I'll put that on my Facebook. I won't be analyzing the time anymore. It feels free. I'll feel like a new man. Anyway, need to chant Bray Wyatt. He comes out. He's loud, you deserve it chance. And, if I became, for instance, say I went to WWE tomorrow. I've taken bumps, but that was for training. I've never been on a show. I've never done anything. And I won a championship. Do you think there would be, yo, deserve it? You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. It makes me chuckle, crackle, and wackle. It's fucking hysterical. You deserve it chant. Then nothing more that grinds my gears more than a "this is awesome" chant. Well, nothing grinds my gears more than a "this is awesome" chant. But it's close. It's very close. It's aggravating, it's annoying, and it's damn right pisses me off. Anyway, Bray says he has the whole world in his damn hands. Bray tells everyone to stand by his side and welcomes everyone to the era of Wyatt. Big Match Johnny interrupts. Cena says that he doesn't have the whole world in his hands. He has a huge target on his shoulder, that being the WWE Championship. I like that line from Big Match Johnny Boy. Cena wants a title match and he wants it right now. AJ Styles comes out. And I like the AJ tank top that he's wearing. I do. I have the dark blue version. I don't know because I don't think it's a WWE version. I think it's from, I don't know what it's from. It may have been somebody's Redbubble store or something. I don't think it was a WWE version because I don't really buy WWE merch. I remember, but actually, that's a lie. I bought the last piece of merchandise I bought was in the summer. So I didn't have any tank tops because it was bloody boiling hot in here. And especially in the office, it was ridiculous because of the insulation and the soundproof walls. I bought a Randy Orton shirt, tank top, and an AJ Styles tank top. I did buy it from Euroshop. So he has a new silver grey one. I really dig it. If anyone wants to buy it, I'll buy it myself. AJ Styles, he comes out. He says he wants his rematch, and he wants it one-on-one right now. Daniel Bryan comes out. Daniel Bryan congratulates Bray Wyatt and says both AJ and Cena are owed a rematch and makes it a triple threat match for the WWE Championship. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this opening. It went about 10 to 12 minutes, nothing too long. Not the 20 to 25 minute boring long opening promo, the monologue that we normally get. This was okay. It did its job. It set up a main event, which was an exciting main event. And not only that, it's an exciting main event just thinking about it. Just thinking about the idea of having Bray Wyatt, AJ Styles, and Cena, anyone, you could have a case for either one. You could have Bray Wyatt win, so he faces Orton at Mania, which again we'll talk about later on the show. We have the possibility of AJ Styles versus, if you build a sports entertainer from the ground up, you get Randy Orton in my personal dream match, which Vince McMahon knows I'll fucking come all over him if that happens. And then also, not only that, you have the opportunity of John Cena versus Randy. And we know WWE loves having history, and what better way to make history than John Cena to become the 17-time WWE champion? No one has ever done that before in the history of the WWE. God, imagine how much they would love that. Imagine how much they would love that. Anyway, decent opening segment. I recommend you guys check it out. They made American Alpha versus the Ascension. Non-title match, of course, because it's WWE. That's why it was a non-title match. Good back and forth match. The Ascension looked dominant. Alpha of the grand altitude to get the win. Ascension, I talked about during the Elimination Chamber show, I think, that Luke Harper won in defeat when he lost to Randy Orton at the pay-per-view. I think the Ascension, they could have something here. Obviously, this match was just to kind of set ourselves up for the Usos versus American Alpha feud, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But I think it was actually kind of like a mini little to see how the Ascension would hang, see how the crowd reacted, see how maybe social media reacted. I really like the Ascension. I have no idea why. I have no idea where this comes from. But I'm beginning to become a fan of the Ascension. I like their look. I like their mannerisms. I like the fact that they're monsters. I'm a big fan of the Ascension. Not a lot of people can say that, but I can. You heard that first, right here, on Wrestle AM. Anyway, the Ascension lost, of course, to the Grand Altitude. And then post-match, Usos are backstage. They brag about beating up Alpha. They're being thugs. Which is all right, but I will always hate them. I always will, always have hated them with an unalterated passion. I think the Usos are scumbags. I think they're overrated. I think they're overhyped. I think they're shit. I don't care what character you change into. If Zack Ryder came out tomorrow as the biggest white meat babyface of all time, having 5-star match after 5-star match, I will still hate him. I legitimately hate the Usos. I get down when I have to think about the Usos. I would rather be at the job I have right now than the Usos. That's saying something. And that is saying something, because enough of that. Enough of that. If you want to hear me talk about my job, I went 16 minutes talking about my life on the Patreon today. So check that out. Really deep. Only $1 per month. Cheap shilling bastard. Anyway, backstage, Jobber James, he tries to hit on Carmella. Carmella's telling him, look, let's keep this down. Let's keep it professional. Ambrose is still screaming after Corbin until he finds Jobber James, says Carmella is using him, and tells him to use online dating. Now, Internet Infantry, please put in the live comments if you're listening live, or if you're listening post-live. Do you ever, or have you ever used online dating? If so, how did it go? Because James Ellsworth is looking for advice, not me. I'm looking for, I got a girlfriend. Look at my girlfriend up here. It's a really nice flask because it's fucking cold as shit in here. And I've got fucking a jumper, a shirt. I'm fucking warm with this though. It's a bit of hot chocolate because at 3 a.m. my English ass is going to hit that pillow and I'm going to get my ass to sleep so I can be a normal fucking human being. I'm excited, if you can't tell. Anyway, Brian comes in, he makes Jobber James versus dummy Dean Ambrose for later on in the evening. And then we have Jobber James. He's in the ring. JBL, it's Jobber James versus Dean Ambrose. JBL goes, thank goodness. Never have I been so happy to see Dean Ambrose. JBL cracks me the fuck up. When he was doing Raw for 3 hours, I couldn't tolerate him. I couldn't. Just hearing his voice made me cringe. But he's good with Moro. Ronaldo. Sorry, that was just the English in me. He has a really great chemistry with Moro Ronaldo. Like a really good chemistry where they just bounce off each other. You know, David Otunga's an invalid. He's actually an invalid. Or an invalid, however you want to call it, however you pronounce it. That's what he is. He's an imbecile. You know, he doesn't count as part of the announce here. Well, Tom Phillips, speaking of invalid, Tom Phillips on this show did squat. Like, what is the point? I understand he's the host. He's the guy who says, up next, it's blah, blah, blah. Up next. Can we just let Moro Ronaldo do that? Or if you don't trust him to do it, let JBL do it, for crying out loud. Jesus. Anyway, Corbin attacks Ambrose during his entrance. Ambrose fights back with a forearm off the WWE crew area until Corbin hits a deep six into the production area. And there was some really cool smoke. I'm excited to see this at Mania. Like, I generally am. I think this will be a really, really good match. And I don't know what show I talked about it on, but it might have been the preview, but I'm actually really excited. And I wouldn't be pissed off if Baron Corbin won the IC title. Lo and behold, there is actually a human being out there, but I don't mind Baron Corbin. You know, Boom Booms, who might be joining us depending on if he can time-wise. But if he does, let's see what his opinion is on the Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose situation. If he's excited about the aspect of Baron Corbin being in a high-profile title shot match at WrestleMania. Let's see his reaction to that. I think it'd be quite funny. Anyway, it was cool. You know, this... oh, shit, as I fucking burn myself. Basically, it was a deep six into this table, and then smoke came out. It was really cool. Nice little touch. And then backstage, Bryan tells Nikki that this stuff with Natalya must end. I've been saying the same thing, Daniel Bryan, for the past 2 months, and unfortunately, it doesn't happen. Natalya says, "What are you going to do? Give her a title shot because she's dating John Cena?" That line made me chuckle. They brawl. Bryan is asking for security, so a former WWE World Champion defeated Triple H, Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, and Batista in the same night has to ask security to separate two women. And then Bryan announces a Falls Count Anywhere match with them next week. Oh, what a great feud ender. Falls Count Anywhere. They're trembling in their boots. Jesus wept. Then we have backstage, you have Dolph Ziggler. He says Kalisto and Cruz are losers and rips the new era about them wanting to replace him. And he says he'll wipe out the whole generation if he has to. And I like that. You know, Dolph Ziggler can face the up-and-comers. He can put them over, but because he's in a match with them, it's keeping him relevant. Here's a perfect example. Ty Dillinger. Ty Dillinger can move up. He can go to SmackDown. His first automatic feud could be with Ziggler, because Ziggler come out saying, "Hey, look, you're the new era. I take out the new era. The new era goes through me. I am the stepping stone. I've been here for over a decade. I'm Dolph Damn Ziggler, and there is nothing you can do about it." Spit in the face. Ty Dillinger, Dolph Ziggler. Ty goes over. Great match, because Ziggler can have a great match with a fucking broom. Sorted. Ty Dillinger gets a win over an established veteran who can win in between. He can win against the guys like Kalisto and Apollo Crews because they don't really count. Speaking of invalid, they could be that, and that's a shame because I'm a big fan of both. Kalisto needs to go 205 live. Apollo Crews needs to go back to the Indies. But with that in mind, have Dolph Ziggler be that guy who, when you debut someone, that's who they go through. They did it with Baron Corbin. They should do it with Ty Dillinger. And another one, Nakamura. For example, Nakamura, he can come up in his first week. He could be like, all I've heard of you in NXT is Nakamura this, Nakamura that. I don't give a crap who you are. I am Dolph Ziggler. I've been here for over a decade. I'm a veteran. I'm a former 2-time World Heavyweight Champion. I'm a former Money in the Bank winner. I'm a former multi-time Intercontinental Champion, multi-time Tag Team Champion. I am the man around here. So if you want to prove that you belong on SmackDown Live, you, Shinsuke Nakamura, face me one-on-one this Sunday at Backlash. Simple. And Ziggler can say it with conviction. Nakamura can just point. Nakamura beats Ziggler. That's a credible guy. Ziggler gets over because he's in a match with him, and it could be a good long one. I think Ziggler, that's what they should sign him to be the guy who, say, once every 2 months, he's in a program with a new guy. Or if a guy's that's struggling. For example, say Curtis Axel. Curtis Axel gets drafted to SmackDown. And he's there like, you know what, I'm going to be like my Mr. Perfect, you know, and I want to show him what I've got. And then Ziggler's like, I don't care what you've got. You're nothing. You're an imbecile. You're an invalid. And they could do that. But with that in mind, I do like the idea of Ziggler going after the new generation. I really did like that. That was a great little touch. Then we have Becky Lynch versus Mickie James in an Elimination Chamber rematch. And believe it or not, this may shock you, but these two don't have very good chemistry. And it's strange because when you look at these two women, or when you watch these two women as much as you and I do, you anticipate that this will actually be a very good wrestling match. It really isn't. They just don't click. James sells that she's basically had a separated shoulder, which tricks Lynch, allowing James to hit a spin kick to get the win. This is all right, nothing special. Like, I expected more out of these two, like a 1.75 stars. The Ascension match was better than this, if that tells you much, depending on how you view the Ascension. And after that show, I have nothing against the Ascension. And I don't know why I'm coming on here and putting them over and putting Baron Corbin over. What's going on to me? But because I didn't watch the show at 1 a.m. till 3 a.m. Like, I'll be in bed by 3:30 today and asleep, so I can wake up at 12 like a normal human, or 11:10 like a normal human being, instead of going to bed at 6 or waking up at 3. That's not fair on anyone, is it really? Anyway, with that in mind, I watched this when I got home from work today. I saw this completely different. There was no adverts. I'm analysing the show, not the time. And I like Baron. I see lots of potential in Baron Corbin. I see lots of potential in the Ascension. And SmackDown Live as a whole, I guarantee Raw will still stink. I guarantee Raw will stink the joy now. I don't care how I'm watching it. If I'm watching it live, in bed, live in person, I guarantee I still won't enjoy Raw. But I hope the live comments are like, oh no, SmackDown was good this week, because otherwise I'll feel like an invalid. Story of this show, who's an invalid? Maybe that could be an actual show. Anyway, new women's champion Naomi, she comes out. She claims that she's suffering an injury. Alexa Bliss comes out. She's saying that this injury is a dream. You've dreamed up this injury because you're scared of having a rematch with me. And then she says, you have 1 week. 1 week until I snatch that belt back. I enjoyed this. And, you know, the pay-per-view, looking back in hindsight, it was very rushed. It felt very rushed. There was no need for it being as quick as it was, but apparently, according to some guy on some show I read online somewhere that I forget, because I think when I'm at work, when I'm at home, this is a big one. When I'm on the shit, I cannot remember the last time when I've been on the toilet and I've had a shit and I haven't been with my phone looking at news stories. And maybe a sick thing to picture, but I always do it because this may sound like the saddest thing you've ever heard in your life. But I've recently bought a book because I want to get off the phone as much, because I need to just step away from technology once in a while. So I was thinking, why don't I go buy myself a book? So on Saturday, it was my day off. So me and my girlfriend, we went to our local, like, kind of shopping centre. And I went into WH Smith's and I bought myself, there was a reduced section. I'm like, I don't want to spend, 15, 20 pounds on a book. It's a fucking book. So I had a look, and there was this big, clearance sale. So I was like, okay, let's have a quick look down here. And there was a really good book for £3. I'll bring it out to this office next time I do a show. And I said to this, maybe sound extremely sad, but I don't care. And I was like, you know what? I read the back, and it's actually kind of like a horror. And I don't do well with horror. I'm a very psychologically driven person. If I'm in a good mood, psychologically, I'm on top of the world. There is nothing that can touch me. I'll have more confidence. I'll talk more quickly. Everything else I'll be better at whatever it is I'm doing. Psychologically, if I'm scared, anxious, nervous, paranoid, I'm the shit. I'm shit. Not the shit. I'm shit. For example, if we had a guest that I've never met before, I find intimidating, or I find them patronizing and it makes me nervous and paranoid, I'll start to stutter. I'll start to be just kind of like just all curled up in a ball. And I was like, okay, this book, if I'm reading it on the shitter, I don't want it to scare the shit out of me. So I said to my mum, I said, Mum, can you do me a favor? She said, oh, what? Can you read this book for me and tell me this? And then I tell you what, I come back today on the, we have like a work service. Well, you all have a fucking kitchen. You know what a surface is. And the page, you have like a page clip, and it's like halfway through the book. So I'm guessing it's a good book, and it's like a sequel of 7. So I'm guessing my mom's going to be investing in those next books. So, hey, who knows? Maybe I'll break it down next time how my toilet breaks go. I guess we were talking about women toilet breaks today. I'm joking. That was mean. That those jokes don't work anymore, and that sucks. I came in a period where we can't make jokes about that. That doesn't suck. That's good that women's wrestling is on the uprise. But I'm generally excited for the rematch next week. Hopefully it gets given a lot more time, as I touched on before I went off on a rant about what I do on the bog. And then we have the WWE match, triple threat. We have big match, John, AJ Styles, Bray Wyatt, the champion. There was a really awesome spot here with the Brady's entrance. The lights, obviously they're off. And then when they come on, Harper's there. They start brawling. He starts brawling with Bray, including a really nice super kick. But the way it was shot was so awesome. And it's even more awesome that Luke Harper is involved in the WWE title scene. It's even more awesome that, he could potentially be at WrestleMania, because obviously what happened with if you build a sports entertainer from the ground up, Randy Orton, later on in the show. And according to Talking Smack, I didn't watch Talking Smack. Okay, I stayed away from SmackDown Sports as much as I could, because Wrestling Rantin accidentally tweeted me. He didn't realize I wasn't watching it live, because I normally watch all the shows live. But Sadly, I can't. Unless it's a pay-per-view. Like, if it's a pay-per-view, I'll probably just once a month I can stay up on, or once every 2 weeks I can stay up live. So I'll probably still do live post-pay-per-view recaps, or I'll do it on Monday, depends on how big the pay-per-view is. Any event. In the end of the day, with Luke Harper being involved in the title scene, just even if he's involved, that just makes me happy, and it adds star power to him. Like, I think that Harper could win the Battle Royal next week. We could get Harper versus Orton versus Bray, or Harper wins the Battle Royal. Orton says, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! Look, I still have my Royal Rumble shot. No matter what, I'm contracted to have a WWE title match." Harper's like, "Well, I want a Battle Royal." Daniel Bryan comes up, says, "Next week, next week, Luke Harper versus Randy Orton. The winner faces Bray at WrestleMania." They could do that. Or for all we know, Bray won't even be the champion now. It'll be Bray versus Orton Mania. But what to do with Luke Harper? You know, because your initial reaction's like, oh, well, if he can't be involved in the WWE title picture, what about the IC title picture? But Baron Corbin's got that spot. Unless they do, who's a babyface right now who's in desperate need of a feud? I mean, you could do big match John Luke. No, because he's a babyface, isn't he? Harper's a face, so who's a heel? You could do Harper versus AJ Styles. You could do that. Like, it's not really a good program or a good Mania match, but at least AJ, they could have a good match. And a lot of people would be happy that it's not AJ Shane, even though, hear my case for AJ and Shane McMahon. Take your mind back to King of the Ring 2001, how amazing Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon was. How amazing that was. What a classic that is to this day, 16 years later. Imagine AJ Styles now with him. Holy crap. That would be amazing. And I guarantee you, everyone would go, oh, you know, they'll be getting on their feet like fucking imbeciles. Anyway, back to the match. AJ with a diving leg drop off the barricade through the announce table. AJ counters an AA into the calf crusher, and then Cena counters that into the STF, but Bray breaks it up with a senton on both. Cena with an AA for 2. Stars clash from AJ for 2, great near fall, and then Bray hits the Sister Abigail clean win over Big Match John. Post match, if you build a sports entertainer from the ground up, you get Randy Orton. He comes out. Orton refuses to face Bray Wyatt at Mania and bows in front of Bray Wyatt, and then Bray goes, "You now have the keys to the kingdom, my friend." As they go off the air posing like imbeciles. No, I'm joking. They go off the air posing. And then on Talking Smack, something along the lines of a Battle Royal next week to determine who will face Bray Wyatt for the WWE title at WrestleMania. And looking at the roster, I don't really think you could go AJ, but I still think AJ's gonna be like, no, I deserve a one-on-one rematch. I've been screwed by you, Shane. You've screwed me and you screwed me harder than maybe punch him. And then Daniel Bryan's like, Shane, you lose your commissionership if you do. And I'll do anything to get my hands on that little punk. You know, maybe we could get a new commissioner. But I like Shane. Shane suits the role of commissioner really well. He's a great matchmaker because in WWE they have the tendency to do this. They always have the heel authority. Always. They've always had this. You know, dating back to the Attitude Era, to the Ruthless Aggression Era, to the whatever the fuck the PG era is called, and now the new era. Like, they've always had the heel establishment figure. And it's really fucking annoying. Now let's have a babyface, 2 babyfaces run the show. And it's interesting. I think maybe that's why I enjoy SmackDown more. Raw, it's meant to depress you because the heels always get their way. Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, Vince, they always get their way on SmackDown. You have Shane and Daniel Bryan who want the best show for you. I think maybe that's why. Maybe they don't even realize, but the way they write it depresses you because you never win. Your guy never wins. Whether it's the robot Roman Reigns, the guy who the company is just mega hot for. Literally, Vince is probably mega hot for it. Or you've got, you know, the fucking shit that you don't want to watch, like a Braun Strowman. Like, I don't give a fuck about Braun Strowman. I don't give a fuck about him at 1 a.m. I don't give a fuck about him at 2, at 3, at 4 a.m. I don't give a fuck about him now. This Reigns match, I could give 2 shits about. I really could care less about Roman Reigns versus Strowman. That'll be the sponsored Kocosports.net piss break. Period. I've had enough of Braun Strowman. What's so good about him? Raw. Someone put in the comments why Braun Strowman's awesome. Please. Jesus Christ. Let's get to some live comments if we have any. I know this is unexpected, but from now on, I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, because of due to work and stuff. Wrestle AM, the shows will be reviewed the day after. I apologize about that sincerely. Maybe for the next month or two, I can stay up a bit later, but I just can't do these shows live anymore, guys. I'm sorry, it's killing me inside. But it means you'll get a more live of me. I'm more live and more energetic. It's only 2:35 a.m. because I could go to bed at 2:45 or 3 o'clock or 3:15. I can go to sleep at a respectable time like a normal human being and get up at 11 instead of getting up at 3 and missing the day. I go to work, I wake up, I go to work, I come home, I come in here. That's a bit, I need to sort my priorities out. And as a human being, I'm sorting myself out. So we don't have any, I think we might have some live comments. Let's see. We got Chancey Bullock, hashtag beat up John Cena. At least Chancey's there in the comments watching live, and you guys will get used to it. And what I'll do for you guys is I'll just, for example, say I wake up at, 10 a.m. in the morning. I'll already have the show time uploaded for you guys on the channel so that the video will be there. You click it and it will say how many hours till streaming. So you guys know when we're going live with these shows because they're going to be very inconsistent. So just stick around on the channel. And if you see a new live video pop up, click it and it will show you how many hours or minutes until the show starts, okay? Because the time's going to vary, but once I get this new job, this new admin role, if I don't get this new job, I'm going to be so down because I hate my job so damn much. But I talked about that on my Patreon show, and I don't want to take away from them. I don't want to get into that because, quite frankly, I don't particularly want to. So, with that in mind, Booms hasn't joined me because I was too quick. We went 27 minutes talking about SmackDown Live, which is fair enough because not really that much of a show to talk about. Teddy Long in the Hall of Fame is pretty cool. Let me see if there's any news on the old interwebs. Let me see. Let me check a website just quickly. Because I still feel a little bit wet. Got my hot cocoa to get me to sleep, so I might fall asleep live on there. What we got here? Strowman yelled at backstage by Vince. Huge match set for next week. Vader's actually injured. This is an interesting one, ladies. Let's see if this is the case. Oh dear, Vader with this tweet. As I enter my final days, proud of the father, son, big brother, football player, pro wrestler, super heavy big man, grateful for the time. Naomi noticed she didn't notice the injury that was believed. Okay, apparently, according to this, Naomi's actually injured. I have no idea if that's true or not, if that's a lot of bullshit. Quite frankly, I don't care either way. That's mean. I care if Naomi's injured. I don't want Naomi to be injured because we don't wish injury on anyone here at Kocosports.net ever. You're unable to provide for your family, and we believe everyone should be. With that in mind, appreciate you guys checking out this Wrestle AM today's edition. I understand there'll be lots of post live views, so guys, please put in the comments what you thought of this week's SmackDown. I'll reply to each and every one of them. Don't worry, tomorrow me and Booms will be back for an NXT recap. Friday will be Impact Wrestling. Saturday I might do the New Japan show. And Booms might be back in about an hour with his New Japan, because he did a review of New Japan earlier on today, and he told me he didn't really like it. So he's going to record another New Japan review. So you have that to look forward to with him. Check out the MMA AM podcast I just did. I apologize, guys, if it pisses you off that I can't go as soon as a show finishes. I can't go live. I apologize. I really, really do. We can't be that channel anymore. I apologize, but you still get the same dedicated amount of shows from me, 2 podcasts a day, 6 days a week. You'll still get that. But they'll just be a day late, which means everyone in England can watch it live. Because basically what happened in England, not everyone stays up till 1 to 4. I know my best friend doesn't stay up till 4 a.m. Like, I suffer so hard for it. Like, mentally it burns me, and I feel I don't deliver the best content because it's so late, and it's not fair on anyone. And it's got to stop. I've got to prioritize myself and my actual legitimate career. I'm not saying this isn't a career. One day this could be, but this is a passion. This is a hobby for the time being. One day it could be a career, but not yet. I need to do my administration stuff, my office stuff. I'm really good at office stuff. So I'm going to potentially do administration for a really good company and make an extra double my wage, give or take. So I'll be happy. So with that in mind, I appreciate you guys checking us out. Leave a like, leave a comment, hit that damn subscribe button to know when we're going live. And again, tomorrow we'll be back at around about 1 to 2 a.m. with MMA. We'll be back 1 a.m. UK time tomorrow, MMA AM with Keith from the MMAtakeover.com. We're going to recap UFC 208, preview this Sunday's UFC on Fight Night show. And tomorrow, me and Booms will be here to recap NXT for you. So that in mind, I appreciate you guys checking us out. I appreciate you watching this video. Stay safe, stay well. I'll be catching your asses down the line.